In an 8-year run full of embarrassments, the Denver Broncos truly find new ways to embarrass themselves. What's going on, guys? Frankie here, FrankiesFilm. Let's talk Broncos. Let's get into it. 31-21, Nathaniel Hackett coming back into Denver and beating Sean Payton, with Robert Saleh's help, obviously. It was ugly. Denver continuing to play some of the ugliest defensive football I've seen in my lifetime. But we're not here to rant about the horribleness of the Denver Broncos season. I'm sure there's plenty of other places you can go to see that. Let's take a look at some of the film this week. As always, I'll be taking a look at some of the gold star players I've got this week. On defense, we've got Patrick Surtain. Trade deadline's coming up. Please, football gods, let Patrick Surtain stay on my football team. I don't know how long he's going to get to be here, so we're going to cherish it while we got. He had a great matchup with Garrett Wilson this week. And on the offensive side of the ball, the run game was doing some cool stuff. Sean Payton bringing a lot of diverse run calls up. We got Chris Manhertz, Lloyd Cushenberry, Quinn Miners, the backs, Jaleel McLaughlin, Samaje Perine having good games. So yeah, some exciting stuff to look at. I know the season's not going the way anyone wants, but I'm going to be here every week. I'm going to be showing you guys the players that are doing pretty well. Hopefully some of the building blocks this team can build off of. And yeah, just some things to at least kind of hang your hat on a little bit going into next season, guys, because it might be a long rest of the year. But if you'll hang with me, hopefully we'll find some fun players to see on this Broncos team going forward. All right, first play for the Broncos offense, and we're going to be taking a look at a rep on 1st and 10 on the Broncos' first drive with them trailing 3-0. They come out some 11 personnel in a tight formation, and they're going to run one of my favorite gap concepts. It's called Crunch. I've seen it called Wham Bam. Basically, we're going to have a double trap from the guards with them trapping the right side tackle and defensive end. Then you're going to have Quinn Miners, Lloyd Cushenberry, and Garrett Bowles hoping to climb up to the second level. It was actually blocked pretty well, but you do see CJ Mosley just makes an incredible play on the ball, ends up breaking before Garrett Bowles can get up there to make his block. But either way, a fun concept to see Peyton put on paper, and one of my favorites. Very next play for the Broncos offense sees them facing 2nd and 8 with some 12 personnel with Adkins in here. And we're going to see them run this motion crack toss that we've seen get really popularized with the Shanahan-McDaniel offense this year. And Sean Payton's going to pull it out again. And once again, we got another huge Jaleel McLaughlin run. But I want to highlight the block here from Lloyd Cushenberry. This might be the best block I've seen him put on in a Denver uniform. And he has been excellent this year. A player I'd really love to see Denver get re-signed to a contract if they can keep him locked up. Couple plays later on the same drive, facing 1st and 10 and some 11 personnel, and Sean Payton's going to dial up basically the exact same screen we saw last week out of Jaleel McLaughlin, and we just get more fireworks, I want to point out, incredible catch here, does a good job keeping concentration and getting his hand on the ball, just breaks more tackles for a guy his size, but another great block. Look at Quinn Miners, just chucking Quincy Williams out of the way, This is the stuff you want to see out of a guy entering his 3rd year, and a guy that's also going to need a contract coming up here soon. Lucky me, we get another crunch rep, and this one is just beautiful. I'm not even going to talk, I'm just going to let you guys watch the blocks. Next, we got a 2nd and 4 with Denver leading 10-8 and some 12 personnel, and this rep right here made me want to get a Chris Manhertz jersey. We just got a beautiful duo rep, and he just manhandles Will McDonald. But I really want to emphasize, man, this ground and pound game, it works. Sean, when we get inside the 15, the 10, the 5, let's just punch it down some teams' throats, man. He's shown so many good concepts that should work in these short yardage situations. I feel like he's not keeping it simple enough a little bit near the goal line, so I'd like to see us get back to that. Few drives later for Denver, we got a 1st and 20 with them trailing 13-15, and they're running some 12 personnel, but it's kind of made to look like 21 personnel with Troutman lined up as the fullback. They're going to be running some fullback lead here, but I really just want to highlight another great block by Quinn Miners. Does a great job just fully extending and getting a great punch on CJ Mosley, knocking me a good 5 yards backwards, and it's basically the entire gain right there is made by Quinn Miners. Next up, 2nd and 10, 18-13, and we've got a play that is going to live in infamy, but man, it was so close. Just look at this, man. Sean had the Jets defense completely out of phase here. If we have a clean handoff here, and yes, there can be a discussion about maybe the personnel in at the time isn't the right move, but this would have been a massive chunk play and possibly a touchdown with where Denver was at on the field. So incredibly heartbreaking for a play that could have been one of Denver's true, like, sparks of the season. Ends up just being a fumble that ends up going the other way, so heart-crushing. Final play we're going to be taking a look at here for the offense. We got the 2-point conversion they go for very late in the game, and this is just some super heavy personnel. Look at the gravity here Jaleel McLaughlin is already drawing. Just taking like 4 Jets defenders out of the play. Mike McGlinchey does a great job on down blocking, and Michael Burton, walk-in touchdown. So, we all know Patrick Surtain is one of the best, if not the very best, in my opinion, corner in the NFL. And fans have been clamoring all season about, well, why isn't he shadowing the team's very best receiver, this and that. And I think in the Jets game, we finally got to see, I think, a lot more of what the fans have been wanting. We got to see PS2 really used as that kind of chess piece to be put around the board to kind of take away a team's best option. But then on top of that, we also saw the Jets countering with some really good kind of play calls to get Patrick Surtain out of position when they knew he would be manned up on Garrett Wilson. So I want to take a look at kind of the chess match that was Garrett Wilson versus Patrick Surtain. And I want to give props to Garrett Wilson is really good. It is very rare that receivers are able to catch Patrick Surtain out of position. Garrett Wilson, there were probably 3 reps on here where he just straight up wins against Patrick Surtain. That does not happen often. Very awesome to see for a second-year receiver. So wanted to give my props there. First play we're going to be looking at here for Surtain, we got a 3rd and 18 for the Jets. Denver's coming out in some dime look, and they're going to be playing some cover 2 sink, and this isn't really too crazy of a play, but I just want to kind of highlight something that doesn't get appreciated enough for Patrick Surtain. He's a great open field tackler, man. I know all the fans, we see him locking up receivers, we see him batting down passes, we see him making crazy interceptions. This guy is also just like a very large corner that plays big, and he makes tackles very well in the open field. Here we've got a 1st and 10 for New York. They're going to run some heavy play action, and we've just got Surtain with just some beautiful footwork, just staying in the hip pocket of Garrett Wilson as they're going to attempt the double move on him on the out and up. You just see Patrick Surtain, man, those hips, those feet, they're fluid. Watch Garrett Wilson, elite stop ability, and Patrick Surtain doesn't lose an inch. They're just metahumans out there. Next play, another 1st and 10 for New York, running some more play action out of this I formation set. And this is probably the first win of the day for Garrett Wilson, though not a huge one. You just see him run a deep stop route, and he does get a little bit of separation on Surtain. But look at the recovery by Surtain, man. The hook zone probably makes it there's no window here, but just 2 athletes that their agility is just off the charts. Now we've got a 3rd and 8 near the goal line, and this is where we get the true, first Surtain, Garrett Wilson battle rep, He's on him, 3rd and 8, man-to-man, we need a win, here we go. Patrick Surtain locks him up, You're not getting any separation on him. Zach Wilson could definitely have made with a better throw, maybe if you kind of lead him with a bit more to the end zone, but Patrick Surtain, he's too big, too long, too fast, and you're not finding much of a window to make there. Next, we got a 1st and 10 and a 2-minute drill for New York, and we've got another win for Garrett Wilson here, man. On a double move, no less, which you don't see Surtain get beaten on. Just the stutter go, ends up getting himself a little bit of separation. The Zach Wilson throw is just too far outside, though, so we can't get it in bounds. But look at Jonathan Cooper. Does he affect this throw at all? I don't know. You'll have to let me know, but great play by Patrick Surtain and Jonathan Cooper, but Garrett Wilson, man, making some moves. So we've seen a couple examples of why having Patrick Surtain shadow a receiver is really good, but here's an example of why it can be a bit of a detriment if the offensive coordinator knows it's coming. Here we've got a 3rd and 5, and New York just has Patrick Surtain run through a gauntlet of both his own players and the opposing team's players. They have the motion speed out, and there's just not much you can do. You can't ask a corner every single play to be able to be manned up with a guy running motions across the field, running these rub routes. It's just kind of it's not doable. So it's one of those things that you do have to switch up once in a while. You can't just have a guy playing man every single snap of the game. Next play, Denver's got the Jets facing another 3rd and 10, and we've got Patrick Surtain just shadowing Garrett Wilson some more. And here's another example of, where it is scary. Again, if an OC knows you're playing man, you can look to have these rub routes. Luckily, Patrick Surtain channels his inner Drew Holiday, and he's able to fight through the screen and kind of keep pace with him across the field. Zach Wilson goes for the scramble and isn't able to pick up the 1st down. But, you do kind of see it's a risk-reward type of thing. You hope you can have more reps like these than reps like the other one. Final play here for Surtain as we got Denver holding the Jets on a 3rd and 5 coming out in their penny front. And we've got Patrick Surtain manned up on Garrett Wilson again. And I'll be honest, I don't know what Zach Wilson's doing here. I'm sure in the read it says, you got the single high, you try your one-on-one on the outside. Maybe he looks for a back shoulder throw and makes it work here. But you got to know your personnel, man. That's Patrick Surtain. That's one of the best corners in the NFL. He doesn't even need hands to catch the ball. So probably got to look for the mesh route there, Zachary, but maybe you'll get him next time. I still can't believe Russell Wilson fumbled that ball, man. That's okay, guys, because maybe it'll get a lot easier from here. What's that? 3 of the Broncos' next 4 games are against the Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills. All right, so it's not going to get easier from here. It's going to get a lot worse, but I hope I can continue to keep bringing you guys maybe a little bit of joy, keep highlighting some of the guys that are actually performing well on this team. Thank you guys for tuning in. Patrick Surtain, the run game for the Broncos offense. Doing some awesome things. Keep it up, guys. Really loving to see it. Stop in next week. Make sure you're listening to everything over here on the Let's Talk Broncos channel. Until next time, guys, I've been FrankiesFilm. Have a good week.